Hello students, so in today's session we are going to deal about Werner's theory. Okay, so this we have completed oxidation number and types of ligands and all, and the next one is Werner's theory. So Alfred Werner was the first to formulate his ideas about the structure of coordination compounds. So he prepared and characterized a large number of coordination compounds and studied their physical and chemical behavior by simple experimental techniques. So Werner proposed the concept of primary and secondary valency for a metal ion. So look at here children. Mainly the main concept of his Werner's theory is any metal exhibit two types of linkages, that means valencies. Okay, any metal exhibits two types of linkages, that one is primary valency and secondary valency. What are the two valencies? Primary valency and secondary valency. So primary valency is an ionizable. Okay, the primary valency is ionizable and represented with dotted lines. Okay, in a molecule, primary valency is represented with dotted lines. And next one is a secondary valency. Secondary valency is non-ionizable. It cannot be ionized. Okay, and represented with this one is discontinuous lines, this one is continuous lines, or you can say bold lines. Understand children? Primary valency is an ionizable and represented as dotted lines, and it is the oxidation state of metal ion, which shows the oxidation state of metal ion. It forms an ionic bond. Okay, and it is non-directional in nature. Okay, which one is non-directional? Primary valency is non-directional in nature, and whereas secondary valency, it is directional in nature. So it is arranged symmetrically. Understand the difference between primary valency and secondary valency, children? It is primary valency is ionizable and represented with dotted lines, and it is non-directional, whereas secondary valency is non-ionizable, represented with bold line, and it determines the geometry. Okay, it determines the geometry of the compound, and it is equal to the coordination number or number of ligands. Coordination number or number of ligands. So look at this example. In CONH3 6 times Cl3, we know that this one is a counter ion. Okay, so when you dissolve this compound in water or any solution, the counter ion can be ionizable. The counter ion which is present out of the sphere. So this one is called primary valency, which is ionizable, and in a complex, okay, this coordination complex, this one is a secondary valency and a non-ionizable, and it gives a geometry of the compound. So I think you got an idea where the primary valency and secondary valency is present. Primary valency will be present out of the sphere, that is the counter ion, which is called primary valency, and inside the sphere, which is called secondary valency. Secondary valency is in the inner sphere of the coordinate complex. Understand children? Yes. So now we are going to see the relation between coordination number and geometry. So coordination number, if the coordination number is 2, the structure will be linear. Okay, the structure of the coordination compounds will be linear. If the coordination number is 3, it is trigonal. Okay, the structure will be trigonal. If the coordination number is 4, then two possibilities will be there, that is tetrahedral, the structure will be like this, and it is square planar. Okay, it's square planar, the structure will be like this, okay, in a square form. And next comes to, if the coordination number is 5, the structure will be trigonal bipyramidal or square pyramidal. Okay, trigonal bipyramidal, it will be like this. It is a square pyramidal. If it is trigonal bipyramidal, the structure will be like this. And if the coordination number is 6, the structure will be octahedral, like this. You are going to get octahedral. Next children, in COCl3 6NH3 complex, okay, in COCl3 6NH3 complex, the primary valency of cobalt is satisfied by 3 chlorine ions and the secondary valency is satisfied by 6 ammonia molecules. So this complex can be written as, how you can write this complex, children? You can write like this: CO NH3 6 times Cl3, isn't it? So 1 mole of this complex can give 3 moles of chloride ions and 1 mole complex of CONH3 6 times and 3 plus. So when dissolved in water, so this can be give CO when dissolved in water, it can give CO NH3 6 times 3 plus 3 Cl minus 3 chloride ions. So like that, if a number of ammonia molecules are decreasing, how the structures will be, we are going to see now. So the structure of this, so look at here, children. COCl3 6NH3, when dissolved in water, it is going to give 3 chloride ions. When it dissolves in water, it gives 2 chloride ions, and here 1 chloride ion. So look at here how we are going to get the structure. The structure is very simple way. First, what you will do, the central metal ion you have to write first, cobalt for all the things. Next, easy way to remember the structure is, for every cobalt, write 6 bold lines. Okay, 6 bold lines. Like this. Understand? For everything you have to draw like that. So look at the structures for everything. Here COCl3 6NH3, here 5NH3, here 4NH3, here 3NH3. For everything what I have done, I have taken the central metal atom, okay, central metal ion, and I have drawn 6 bold lines for everything. So now, so how many ammonia ions are there? So how many ammonia molecules are there? First you have to write on their bold lines. So NH3, 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 NH3. So this one is completed, this one is completed. Now what is the remaining one? Cl3. So this is Cl3, okay. This one is cobalt 3 plus. So this Cl3 you can draw with dotted lines. Anywhere you can draw. Okay, I am going to draw here. One Cl minus here. And another one I am going to draw here, one Cl minus here, another one I am going to draw here, one Cl minus. So what did you understand here, children? The secondary valency. What is the secondary valency here? Secondary valency is represented with bold lines. So secondary valency is 6 and primary valency is explained with dotted lines, represented with dotted lines. So what is the primary valency here, children? 3. Why? Because 3 chlorines are attached through there with cobalt with 3 dotted lines, isn't it? Now comes to this structure. Again, with on the bold lines you draw this ammonia molecules first. Total 5 are there. NH3, NH3, NH3. Okay, you can write anywhere, no problem. NH3. Okay. Now on the another one you write 1 Cl minus. Okay, 1 Cl chloride ion is completed. And how many are left? Still 2 left. So I am drawing here. It is not restricted to draw it here or here. You can draw it anywhere, no problem. One is here, another one is here. So look at here, children. So the primary for one chlorine, it will be having one bold line and another one with dotted lines. That means this chlorine will satisfy both secondary valency and primary valency. Clear? So here the primary valency is satisfied by 3 chloride ions. Okay, one negative ligand will be present. So one negative ligand which satisfied both primary valency and secondary valency, and remaining will be satisfied by ammonia molecules. Understand the structure of COCl3 5NH3. Next comes to here. How many ammonias are there? 4. So NH3, 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 NH3. How many chlorines are there? 2. So write down here one Cl minus, one Cl minus, and another one is with dotted lines. Okay. So look at here, children. This chlorine will satisfy, two chlorines are satisfied both primary valency and secondary valency, isn't it? Two chlorines are satisfying both primary valency, secondary valency, and one chlorine is satisfying one primary valency. Clear? The structure of COCl3 and 4NH3 is this. So first we are going to learn only structures. After that, when dissolved in water, how many chloride ions are coming out, we are going to see. Next one is COCl3 3NH3. So how the structure will be? NH3, 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 and 3 chlorines. Okay, 3 chlorines, you write like this. Yes. So here this also 3 plus. These chlorines will be satisfying both primary valency and secondary valency. Clear? The structure will be like this. So in COCl3, okay, in COCl3 6NH3 molecule, when it is dissolved in water, 3 chloride ions are coming out. So they are satisfied with 3 primary valency. In COCl3 5NH3 complex, primary valency of cobalt is satisfied by 3 chloride ions, and the secondary valency is satisfied by 5 ammonia and 1 chloride ion. 5 ammonia and 1 chloride ion, isn't it? So one chloride ion satisfies both primary valency and secondary valency. So this complex can be written as now CO NH3 5, okay, NH3 5 Cl. Why Cl? Because one Cl is acting as both primary valency and secondary valency, and the remaining one comes outside, which shows in as primary valency. Okay, understand, children? So here one thing, the species satisfying both primary valency and secondary valency are also not ionizable. So 1 mole of this complex gives 2 moles of chloride ions and 1 mole complex of ions, that is CONH3 5 Cl2 plus when dissolved in water. When comes to here, so how many chloride ions it is going to give? It when dissolved in water, CONH3 4 times Cl2. Why Cl2? Because 2 chloride ions are satisfying both primary and secondary valency. That is why it comes inside. Okay, 1 chlorine moves outside. Understand, children? So here 1 mole of this complex gives 1 mole of chloride ion and 1 mole complex of ions, that is CONH3 4 Cl2 plus when dissolved in water. When this one is dissolved in water, we are going to get this. So now last one, COCl3 3NH3. So here 3 chloride ions satisfies primary valency. Okay, 3 ammonia molecules and 3 chloride ions satisfies secondary valency, and the complex can be written as, how the complex is going to be written? CONH3 thrice Cl3. Okay, it cannot give any ions when dissolved in water, and it is a neutral complex. Understand, children? It is a neutral complex. I hope the structures are very simple and easy. Yes, and Werner's theory failed. All the cobalt amine complexes prepared by Werner are hexa-coordinated. All these complexes have octahedral geometry. So all good, but he also unable to explain some of the things. So what are they mean? Werner's theory could not explain the electronic configuration of central metal in a complex compound. Werner's theory could not explain the color of the complex compounds, and Werner's theory could not explain the magnetic properties of the complex compounds. So these all things will be explained by the another theory like a valency bond theory, crystal field theory and all. Understand, children? So next we move to very important topic, that is nomenclature of coordination compounds. So very easy, And very important, definitely from board you are going to get any questions of this from this area. Okay, nomenclature of coordination compounds. So before moving to the naming the compounds, we have to know the ligands. Okay, anionic ligands, cationic ligands, and neutral ligands. So look at here, children, anionic ligands. So this one we know, chloride ion, isn't it? Cl minus means what we will write? We will write chloride ion. So in anionic ligands, what we will do, whatever the last letter E is there, that will be removed, and we should add O. Okay, simple. We should remove the E from the compound, means from the ion name, from the last, and you have to add O. Okay, letter O to the in the place of E. So it is chloride. If you remove E and if you add O, what you are going to get? Chlorido. Okay. And this one is iodide. We are going to say iodide. Remove the O, remove the E and write O. What it is? Iodido. Okay. For fluoride, fluorido. Bromide, bromido. Cyanide, cyanido. OH. Okay. Hydroxide, hydroxido. This is O. And this is a sulfate, sulfato. Carbonate, carbonato. Next, this one is oxalate, oxalato. Simply think what you have to do. You have to remove E and you have to add the letter O. And this one is thiocyanate, we are going to say. But here it is thiocyanato. And this one is nitrito. Okay, when it is attached to N, it is called nitrito N. Already we have discussed. When it is attached to O, it is called nitrito O. So these are some anionic ligands. Now we see neutral ligands. Neutral ligands. CO, carbonyl, H2O. H2O, we should not use the letter word water. Okay, here we are going to use aqua. Okay, aqua. NH3, amine we are saying, no? So here amine, A-M-M-I-N-E, not A-M-I-N-E, A-M-M-I-N-E. And NO means nitrosyl. And moves to cationic ligands. NO plus, nitrosonium. Okay, nitrosonium. NO2 plus, nitronium. And NH2, NH3 plus, hydrazinium. Understand, children? So here NO2, here also NO2 is there. This one is minus. Okay, here nitrito and nitrito O. In if it is anionic ligand, in its cationic ligand, what it is called? Nitronium. So now main things, rules for naming coordination compounds. So according to the IUPAC, so what are the rules we have to follow? That one. See, the positive part of the compound should name first, followed by the negative one. So in a complex, the positive part of the compound should be named first. Then we have to write the whatever the negative part is there. So look at here, children. In this K4FeCN6, this one is alkyl metals. So it will be positively charged, isn't it? As though it is a counter ion, this also we are going to account when you are going to write the name. So this is positively charged. When this one is positively charged, automatically the whole complex becomes negatively charged. So first you have to write the name of this and next this. So here look at here, the counter ion is this side. Counter ion is this side. So here the counter ion is negatively charged. Chlorido is negatively charged. So before that whatever complex is there, it automatically get positive charge. So this is the first rule. What is the first rule? You have to write the positive part of the compound should be named first, followed by the negative one. And next look at here. Within the coordination sphere, the ligand should name first, followed by metal. So within the coordination sphere, whatever ligands are there, they have to write, we have to give preference first to the ligands, then the metal ion. Understand? This is the second rule. So within the sphere, you have to write the name of the ligand first, then followed by the metal. This is the second one. And third rule, we can use the prefix like di, tri, tetra, etc. to the name of the ligands. So here look at here, for the name of the ligands, if they are having any numerals, you can write di, tri, tetra, hexa, hepta, penta, like that. Okay. So that is the third rule. So look at here. 6 means it was hexa. hexaamine cobalt. Hexaamine cobalt. First you have to give preference to the ligand, isn't it? Then we have to move to the metal. So this is the third rule. Next, rule 4. If ligand itself carry a numeral, then we can use prefixes like bis, tris, tetrakis, etc. Clear, children? For example, diamine, triamine, like that. If a ligand itself having any numerals, so in such cases we should not use di, tri, tetra. So in place of di, tri, tetra, what we have to use? We have to use prefixes like bis, tris, tetrakis, etc. So look at here, COEN3, okay, 3 times 3 plus. In this case, this one is called 1,2-diamine. So 1,2-diamine. So we should not use in the naming of this compound di. So what you have to use? What you have to use? Already it is having name, that is diamine. So we should use tris. Okay. We have to use tris 1,2-diamine. This one is 3. So that is why we are giving tris. Tris 1,2-diamine cobalt. So this confusion will arise only in case of EN and dipyridyl. Okay, in these two examples only you should be little, you have to keep more concentration over this. Okay, so what is the first rule? First rule, you have to write the name of the positive part of the compound, should followed by the negative part. And next one is within the coordination sphere, you have to write the name of the ligand first, then the metal. And third one, if ligand carries any numerals, along with the numerals you have to write the name. Next, if ligand itself carry any numerals, okay, if any ligand itself carries any numerals like bi, tri, di, tri, tetra, like that, so you have to remove that. You have to add prefixes like bis, tris, tetrakis and all. So this is the example. And the fifth rule, if more than one ligand is present, yes, so if more than one ligand is present, what you have to do? You have to follow the alphabetical order. You have to follow alphabetical order. That means, see, look at here in this example, CONH3 twice Br2. This one is amine, this one is bromido. So which letter will come first, children? Either A or B in alphabets. A will come before. Okay, first. So the name will be diamine, dibromido, cobalt. Diamine, dibromo, cobalt. I hope you are clear with this. Fifth rule, if two ligands are present, you have to go along with their alphabetical order. Okay. And next, sixth rule. After the name of the metal, its oxidation state must be represented inside the bracket, that too in Roman numerals. So look at here. So this one, diamine, dibromido, cobalt. So what is the oxidation number of a cobalt here? So oxidation number you have to calculate and you have to write like this within the brackets. After the metal, you have to write their oxidation number in brackets. Understand, children? So we are going to do this oxidation number. We already learned this one. So which one you are going to calculate? That one will be X plus NH3 twice. So NH3 is a neutral molecule. So it will be 2 into 0 plus Br minus, no, so into minus 2. So X you are going to get this one, 2 zeros are 0, X plus 0 minus 2 equal to 0. So X equal to plus 2. So this 2 will move this side. So cobalt is getting oxidation state 2. So that is why I have kept in brackets with Roman letter 2. Now understand. So after the name of the metal, its oxidation state must be represented inside the bracket with Roman numericals. Okay, sorry, with Roman numerals. Clear? That is the sixth rule. Now seventh rule. If counter ion is present in a coordination compound, it's no need to represent the number of counter ions. Okay, children? No need to represent number of counter ions. Simply you can write their name enough. So look at here. Here counter ion is there. K3 CONH3 twice Br2. So this one is positive and this one is negative. Already first rule is that only, no? So what, how you are going to write the name? Potassium diamine dibromo cobalt 2. Clear? I hope it's clear. Don't get any confusion. So look at here. And another example. CONH3 twice Br2 Cl2. This one is negative. This one is positively charged. Isn't it? Chlorido means a chloride. So it is negatively charged. So here what you have to write? You have to write chloride only. No need to write chlorido. Clear? Here, which is present out of the sphere, you no need to write as chlorido. Write only as chloride. So diamine dibromido cobalt 2 chloride. Clear? Yes. Next one, 8th rule. If the complex is negative, the name of the central metal should end with 8. Okay. End with 8. Means here when counter ion is present outside, it will be positively charged. If it is alkali metals or alkaline earth metal, they are positively charged. When it is positively charged, automatically the complex will become negatively charged. So the whole complex will be negative. In such cases, what you will do is the central metal atom will be there. No, that when writing that name, you have to write 8 ATE at the end of that metal name. So this is cobalt. So in place of cobalt, what you are going to write? Cobaltate. Cobaltate. So 8 we have added. Clear, children? So another example, see, nickel Cl4 2 minus. So the complex is negatively charged. So what is the name? Nickelate. Okay, nickelate you have to write. You should not write a nickel. Clear? Yes. And next one, rule number 9. If the complex is negative and the central metal having a Latin name, then instead of a common, we will prefer Latin name. In most of the cases, see some metals like iron we are using ferrum, isn't it? Copper, cuprate, cuprum. So in such cases, what you will do is, you have to use their Latin name. Okay, we should prefer their Latin name. So look at here, children. Here iron is there, iron CN6 minus 3. So here this one we should not write iron. Hexacyanide iron we should not write. What we should write? We should write ferrate. Okay, ferrate. Ferrum, no, ferrate 8. Cuprum, cuprate. Okay, mercury hydrazirate. Silver Ag argenate. Argentate. Next Au gold aurate. So the central metal atom, so in the complex, when it is negatively charged, if the central metal atom is having any its Latin names, so Latin name only we should use, not the normal name or the common name. Okay. And one thing, when you are writing the names, you no need to give any gaps between the names. You no need to give any gaps between the names. So look at here, children, some examples. So now these are the 9 rules. You have to thorough properly, then you can write whatever examples is given in exam. So CuNH3 2 plus. So how the name will be? The complex is positively charged. The complex is positively charged, isn't it? So now tetraamine copper 2. Its oxidation state is 2. Tetraamine. I said here you should not use cuprate because the complex is positively charged. What I said, when the complex is negatively charged, you should use 8. So this is positively charged, so no need to write 8. So tetraamine copper 2. And next example, NiCN4 2 minus. So here the complex is negatively charged, isn't it? It one is negatively charged, so that to the metal you have to use 8. You should add 8. So tetracyanide nickelate. Tetracyanide nickelate 2. Its oxidation state is 2. So already we have discussed how to write the oxidation number of the central metal atom. So once you go through that video. And next one here, K4FeCN6. So counter ion is present. Counter ion is present means it is positively charged. Potassium is positively charged. That means the complex will get negative charge. So how the name will be? So first you have to write the complex name, sorry, counter ion name, isn't it? First you have to write if the counter ion is present, you have to write its name, no need to write its number. Okay, number no need to write, only name is enough. Then potassium hexacyanidopherrate 2. Potassium hexacyanidopherrate 2. Its coordination means its oxidation number is 2. And next comes to here, CrNH36Br minus. CrNH36Br minus complex is getting positively charged. Br is getting negatively charged.